Alright, I've got everything packed up and I'm heading to the Hauptbahnhof, the central train station here in Berlin, and I'm going to be catching a train to the bus station across town and taking a bus at 7 to Prague, where I'll meet another bus and get to CESKY KRUMLOV around 3 or 4 tonight. Got about 2 minutes to my train. So after about 11 hours of traveling or in buses, I'm finally in CESKY KRUMLOV in the south of the Czech Republic, actually the southwest, kind of close to the Austrian border. And I'm going to be here for the next few days kind of exploring. It's a pretty small city, so it's very walkable, and I've got some castles, and it does happen to be a UNESCO World Heritage Site as well. I just got into my hostel here in CESKY KRUMLOV, and the door was locked and one of the roommates let me in, and I can't find the receptionist anywhere, so I'm just waiting out in the courtyard here. Just doing a little late night editing, trying to get some videos uploaded for you. Good morning. Today I'm just getting ready to go down to find some breakfast and then go to the free walking tour that's in the main square, so it should only take me about 5 minutes to get downtown. But look at the beautiful view just from outside of our hostel. lied. It only takes about 2.5 to 3 minutes to walk from my hostel to the main square here. It's a cool little cobblestone square, like every other street in the town, as well as cobblestone. And you get a nice view of the castle tower right behind me, right in front of me actually.
Under one control. So Schwarzenberg army defeated Turks in their expansion to Europe. So it was very big battle, and the day after the battle, the victorious commander Adolfo Schwarzenberg was walking around the battlefield. So when they built the building and the wall is still wet, they paint it and the cover sinks inside very deep. It becomes part of the wall, part of the plaster. That's the reason why it can last there for centuries. This is of course after few restorations, but originally this is the second half of the 16th century. And in that time, when rich inhabitants of the town wanted to show off their wealth, they painted house just like this. And this house belonged to man Jakub Krčín from Jelčany and Sedlčany. I'll tell you again one more time. The 16th century, they painted to make people smile and not to have a blind window. But time to time, some of the historians would tell you that the monkey symbolizes the first wife. Of course, all of them know that it's not true, they just like to tell them, but just the jokes. So Don Julius and Markéta, they fall in love, they were enjoying romantic Krumlov, living in the castle, everything was alright. But one day, Don Julius became furious and stepped Markéta with an answers different rules than Gothic. It should be bigger, with right angles and symmetrical. So what they did, they couldn't change the shape of bottom floor, so they would keep the bottom floor Gothic, without right angles, going like in circles. But they could change the upper floor. So they set it on corbels, it was bigger, with right angle, with symmetrical windows. So they made the upper floor Renaissance. So now we can compare Gothic and Renaissance here. But it's not that special, there is few houses like this in the town. But the next owner of this one, he said, this is great, I have Gothic and Renaissance, but I am a modern man, and today the Baroque style is modern. So later he rebuilt the top of the building in Baroque style. You can see the wooden window blinds, the little curves in corners. It's all typical for Baroque. So now we have Gothic, Renaissance and Baroque. And then it stopped because today it's very strict. Today you cannot do any change. My favorite house, it's a Gothic building with Renaissance paintings, which is very unusual. And before I tell you the story, look at almost to the top. You can see two little windows there, can you see? It looks like they are open, but it's just painted. Because in the 16th century, they like to paint illusion. They wanted to impress you, make you think about it. Is it real? Is it painted? You never know. If you look carefully, you can see more examples around the castle. But now guys, look at the symbol down here between two windows. There is hand holding something like a hammer and piece of white cloth. This is symbol of cloth dyers. Do you know who were cloth dyers? Those were the people who colored the cloth and some other people would buy it and make some fancy dress from it, okay? So in the 16th century, the cloth dyers used to live and work here in the street. Many of them, people like it, they were shopping here a lot. But one day, merchants started to import expensive dyed cloth from England. And it became very fashionable in the town, so no one was buying anything from the local dyers anymore. So they didn't know what to do, how to solve the situation. So all of them from the street put their heads together and they worked out crazy plan. They dyed huge quantity of cloth in the workshops in Český Krumlov, transported all to England, then put mark of English dyers on every single piece. They got all the papers they needed, paid the fees and duties, and then took it back to Krumlov and sold it as a genuine English good to the local inhabitants with a very fat profits. But they had no idea about anything. But it wasn't a happy ending for them, because the fraud was soon discovered and all of them ended up in jail. 100 years without any break. And right now there is 3 of them. 2 of them are twins, male and female, born here in 1986. And the third one, she was born 1994 in Zoo of Innsbruck in Austria. And the tradition is, if the bear dies, they take the skin and put it on the wall or on the floor inside a castle. So if you ever go inside a castle, you see some bear skins. It's not from hunting, it's from the bear mote.
So we just got done with the walking tour of Český Krumlov, and there was a lot of interesting information. I think my favorite bit was that the city is so old and so well preserved because in the Second World War it was virtually untouched by any fighting. So it was all preserved, and it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1992, and they've rebuilt a lot of the stuff to look exactly like it would have in the medieval times, just because the communists kind of let it go into ruin. And another interesting bit of information is that Český Krumlov used to be two cities, Latrina and Krumlov, and they were right across the river from each other, and they used to fight a lot. And in 1555 they unified the two cities. Now we're in the castle gardens of Český Krumlov. It's about a 1 kilometer stretch all the way to the back. This garden is so quiet. There's absolutely nobody else here except maybe that guy over there. It's so empty. Not much of a garden.
I wonder what it looked like back in its heyday.
Probably looked a lot nicer than this. This looks very unkempt.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want to be in that boat. We've assembled a pretty diverse group of people for supper tonight. Say hi, everybody. We found a nice heated place at a restaurant I cannot pronounce, but we finally got 6 people into one booth. And since it's outside, they even supplied blankets if we need them. It's pretty cool.
So remind me again, when you said you did a hiking route, you went past the bus station?
Yeah.
Just like straight up the mountain?
Yeah, up 80 degrees.
So we finally got our diverse menu of drinks. We've got mead, hot wine, dark beer, and juice. And then some rabbit, carp, and I don't know what you got.
Chicken.